Today, guys, we're doing continuing elimination. This is 5-4. This is elimination. We're still solving with elimination with multiplication. We're still solving systems, but we're now going to use multiplication while we are using the elimination form. Okay, so what's the difference? What if there are no common coefficients? So there's no common coefficients. Then we create one. What you do is you multiply one or both equations by a number to create matching and or opposite coefficients. All right, so what does that look like? Let's look at number one. If I notice none of the numbers on the variables are the same, okay, these numbers here are bigger than these numbers here. So I want to always try and use the smaller numbers. It makes things a little bit easier. Okay, if I just multiply this top equation by -2, and that means I multiply everything, then it's going to have the same coefficient and opposite signs. So when I say multiply everything, that means I'm multiplying everything times -2. So my new equation is going to be -2x minus 6y equals -12. And then I'm just going to rewrite the second equation. So for this one, just rewrite. So we have 2x minus 7y equals -1. And now if I look, am I looking at these set of variables? If I just add the two equations together, they're going to cancel. My x's cancel and I'm left with, remember I'm adding, so this is going to be a -13y equals -13 divide by -13. And now we're just back to solving the system. Y equals 1. So now I'm going to take this y and I'm going to plug it in. I can choose whichever equation I want. Well, when I'm looking at this equation here looks easier to me because it's got one less coefficient. So I'm going to take this y that I found and I'm going to plug it in for this y here. All right, so I've got x plus 3 times 1 equals 6. X plus 3 equals 6. Subtract 3, subtract 3. X equals 3. So now I have my x and my y. Now I've got to check to make sure that it's correct. So I'm going to take what I think is the ordered pair, 3, 1, and I'm going to plug it into the unused equation, just like we did in the first eliminations, okay? Only thing we've added is having to multiply by this number. Otherwise, we're working it the same way. So I have 2 times 3 minus 7 times 1 equals -1. So I have 6 minus 7 equals -1. -1 equals -7, Kimberly. This is true. So this is my correct answer. Okay, here we go. Let's look at a couple more examples so we know what all can happen and go from there. All right, that was eliminating the x. Looking at number 2, we're going to multiply the bottom by 3. Because if I can only multiply one equation, that's what I want to do. And I'm going to actually multiply the bottom by -3 because I like to add versus subtract. So now I'm going to rewrite this top one. And I could do it there, or I sometimes like to write it underneath. So I have 9x plus 3y equals 12. And then I have -6x minus 3y equals -15. And now I'm adding all of this together. So I get 3x, this cancels, equals -3. Divide by 3, and I get x equals -1. Now I take the x and I'm going to plug it into my second equation because it's easier. 2 times -1 plus y equals 5. So I have -2 plus y equals 5. Add 2, add 2. This cancels. Y equals 7. So right now I am thinking that my answer is -1, 7. But since we can check, we check. So I'm going to have 2 times -1 plus 7 equals 5. And if you have your calculator, you can easily just type this part in and get your answer. So you have 2 plus 7. Oh, but that's a -2 equals 5. So I have 5 equals 5. This is true. So therefore, this is my correct answer. You can easily check these with the calculator. All right, moving right along. Next page. Now we're going to look at where we've got to multiply both equations. So looking at number 8. Okay. What I notice is they're all different. Not one of them is blank. Okay. I can choose to either multiply for the x's or I can multiply for the y's. I always choose whatever is the smaller amount. Well, 15 is bigger than 12, so I'm going to make the y's the same. So I'm going to multiply the top by 4 and the bottom by -3. I like to go ahead and change to the opposite sign when I multiply. So then I'm just adding in the next step. You can choose whichever you like. So, because it should come out the same. So now I distribute to everything. Okay, so I've got 12x plus 12y equals 36. I have -15x minus 12y equals -30. There's my two equations. Now I'm adding the two equations together. So when I do this, I end up with -3x. These cancel, equals 6. Divide by -3, and x equals -2. Now we just continue to solve. I pick whichever one I think is easier. I usually pick the one that's got the smaller numbers. So now I'm going to use this equation and plug in the x. So I'm going to have 3 times -2 plus 3y equals 9. It really doesn't matter. I could have easily picked this equation and then I check with this one. It doesn't matter. So I have -6 plus 3y equals 9. So we add 6 to both sides. 3y equals 15. Divide by 3, and y equals 5. So right now I am thinking that my point is -2, 5. Let's check to make sure. So plug it in and we have 5 times -2 plus 4 times 5 equals 10. So I have -10 plus 20 equals 10. So that's 10 equals 10. This is true, so this is my correct answer. Now, looking at number 10, the thing that can trip us up here is this is not in standard form. This is not standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is rearrange it to standard form. Okay, now at so that's going to become -4. Sorry, hold up. You got to write it in the correct order, Kimberly. 2x minus 4y equals 18. So now these are the two equations that I'm looking at. So I'm going to do the 5 and the 2. So I'm going to multiply this equation by 2, and I'm going to multiply this one by 5. Notice I don't have to do a negative because this one's already negative and this one's already positive. So now my new equations are going to be -10x minus 12y equals 6. 10x minus 20y equals 18. Yeah, 18 times. Whoa. Yeah, I just need my calculator. I was trying to think they did smaller numbers there, but oh yeah, because I could do 12 here. That's what they did in the, but you can do either way. See, I'm using a different number, but you easily could just do, it doesn't matter. You can work these multiple ways. So this is kind of a good example to have. So I've got 18 times 5, which gives me 90. Okay. So now we just add them. This cancels, and we have -32y equals 96. We divide by -32, which is going to give me y equals a -3. So now we plug in. So I pick which equation. It really doesn't matter. I'm solving for x, so I may actually, and we always plug into original, never rearranged equations. So we have 2x equals 4 times -3 plus 18. So then I've got 2x equals -12 plus 18. So I've got 2x equals 6, divide by 2, and x equals 3. So right now our point is looking like it's 3, -3. So now we just need to check. And to check, we plug it into the unused equation. So we have -5 times 3 minus 6 times, oops, let me scoot this over. -6 times -3 equals 3. So I have -15 plus 18 equals 3. Well, that's 3 equals 3. This is true, so this is my final answer. Okay, so that is how you solve with multiplication elimination. Finish the notes, and then you'll finish your homework assignment in class. Have a great day.